Welcome to the Sound Advice Podcast, a resource for entrepreneurs and small businesses looking for honest insights and go-to strategies for digital marketing. I'm Kelvin, and my wife Phyllis.
Hey.
And I will share what's working, what's changing, and how to navigate the sometimes unpredictable world of business ownership.
Yes, we're experts at figuring things out. Well, figuring them out eventually. And we're here to share it all. The good, the bad, and the stuff we've learned about working at home together every day, all day. So let's jump in. Thanks for coming back to the Sound Advice Podcast. This is Phyllis, and I'm happy to tell you that Jen Lehner has agreed to join us again. She had so much good information. I'm going to keep just getting more info from Jen. If you don't know her, let me tell you a little bit about her. She is a digital marketing strategist and podcaster. She's also an adjunct professor of digital marketing at Cleveland State University, and she's the founder of the Front Row Mastermind for Entrepreneurs. Jen lives in Shaker Heights, Ohio, which is not too far from me, with her husband, her 3 kids, and her golden retriever. So, hey, Jen.
Hey, Phyllis.
So today we have talked about a lot of stuff with Jen. I'm going to link on the show notes to the other 2 episodes because they were fantastic. They were about mini courses and about building community and memberships. But today we're going to be talking about one of my new favorite topics, which is Alexa Flash Briefings. Jen, I feel like you really have sort of cracked the code on this. So I'm really excited to talk to you about it. Jen just recently did a podcast about this very topic on her podcast. And I'm going to link to that because I really think you should listen to it. She gives you lots of good, really breaks down some good information. We're going to touch base on some of that today, but that podcast is definitely a great resource if you're thinking about it or you want to know more about this in detail. So really quickly, Jen, just give people who don't know or might not understand kind of what is a flash briefing and kind of how you figured out what to do with yours.
Okay, so a flash briefing is something that it's a little piece of audio, 10 minutes or less, that you can send out to the world through an Amazon device. And we're going to call her Lexi because if I say her true name, it's going to set off everybody's devices. Yeah. So we're just going to call her Lexi. And so people who own one of these smart devices can say, hey, Lexi, play my flash briefing. And whatever flash briefing that person has subscribed to or enabled in their Lexi app is going to play over their device. But also, you don't actually even need a device to listen to a flash briefing. You can listen over your phone. You just have to make sure you have the Amazon app and the Lexi app. I decided that this was first, it started off as an experiment like all this stuff always does, because I wasn't quite sure how this was going to fit into my business. But one thing that I knew was that, it's just to think that you could send your voice, your message over these devices, and looking at the number of devices that are out there that people purchased this last holiday season and since, and how many are going to be purchased this next holiday season. Honestly, it's going to be the equivalent of what TVs were when they first came out, right? Like they started off slowly, then every single house in America had at least one.
Yeah, I saw,
if not multiple.
Yeah, I just saw an article that just came out yesterday just this week, I think. Amazon released like their most recent numbers, and it's kind of staggering. Now it's up to like 40 or 50 million or something that are being shipped. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah. And in fact, I know that 60% of Amazon Prime members have a smart device, and there's 100 million Amazon Prime members. So that's 60 million devices plus 30% of people who aren't Prime members. And that is just the Amazon devices. We're not even talking about the Google devices and the HomePod. And guess what? Facebook next week, it's predicted that this will happen next week, is going to announce their smart device, which is called Platform. And so, honestly, blows my mind. So when you look at what's happening, to me, it was just like a no-brainer. I got to at least try this out and sort of see what this is all about. What I started doing was recording little snippets of news, just like news about social media marketing and online marketing and that sort of thing. And I was sending them out once a week, and that seemed doable. And, and I was happy with that. And, didn't put too much thought into it. I was really just trying to get through the mechanics and understand it all at that point. And then one day I got a 1-star review from this woman who said that the podcast was good, but it was annoying because she had to listen to the same thing for a week until I updated the episode. And that was like, oh, I didn't think about that. And so the way it works is either you set it to, you tell Amazon, all right, I'm going to publish every day, or I'm going to publish once a week. And I had told Amazon that I would publish once a week, which means she's going to hear that same thing every day for a week. Or I could have told Amazon, I'm going to publish every day, but then on the second day, she would have gotten an error message because Amazon would understand that I didn't put in a new recording. So then she would get some sort of weird error message. So that wouldn't be good either. So what I decided to do was take it on to just record every day, or Monday through Friday. And, I was like, I don't know about this, but actually it's ended up in so many ways being the best thing I've done, at least in 2018. Oh, it has just been amazing for my business. So that is how I'm using it for my business. Is I do these updates. They're really short, like usually under 5 minutes. I record every day, Monday through Friday. I take the weekends off, and it's just been unbelievable.
Yeah, that's fantastic. For people who haven't heard this, and we'll have links to how you can get to her flash briefing, but you're sharing information that's really time specific. So like really new stuff, like every time Facebook has an announcement. And thank you for this platform thing. I had not heard that. So I feel like a little bit of breaking news for me anyway. So, which is kind of cool, right? I listen to your briefings and you'll say, okay, Instagram just did this. Like here's a new thing that's coming out, or here's some update that you need to know about Facebook Live, or a new new option that you have available. So do those briefings continue to exist or live, or is it sort of like they're just done for that day and then that information is not living anywhere else anymore?
Okay. So for me, it does live every day because I take those, and we could talk about that later if you want, but I repurpose them and turn them into MP4s, and then I stick them over on a show notes page.
Okay.
But depending on whatever platform you're using, I use a platform called Sound Up because I think it's just the easiest, and it enables you to create your flash briefing. It's like the Libsyn of flash briefing for anybody who's familiar with podcasts. And so they're basically like the host. So I upload all the flash briefings there, and then they send it to Amazon, and Amazon sends it out to the world. Well, they also have a player that you can embed of all your episodes.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And you can embed that on your website as well. But I take it like a couple of steps further. But I mean, it's not, it does require you to sort of take that extra step, as opposed to with a podcast. If somebody goes to listen to your podcast, they will automatically see all of your podcasts listed there in iTunes.
Right. But if I missed an episode, or, whatever, like I was on vacation and I just totally just wasn't listening to stuff or whatever, I could go back and kind of catch up or something if I missed 2 or 3 days worth or a week or something.
If the broadcaster has made that available to you.
Yeah. Okay.
So if I make that available to you, and, I have to say also, for people who are thinking about doing this, and I think everybody should do this, I don't think there's a business out there that could not benefit from this. But if you don't want to commit to every day, because I know that's a lot.
Yeah.
Although it is the easy content I create all day long. But that is still, it's a commitment to say that you're going to do something every day. What's so cool about these is that you could sit down, and because they're so short, you could literally sit down on a Saturday afternoon when you have a nice chunk of time, or Sunday afternoon, whenever that is for you, and just sit there and record 1-minute chunks. Do that for an hour. You have just recorded 60 briefings. And then you can edit them later, chop them up and then upload them, and then have them pre-scheduled to go out. I don't know if all the platforms do that. There's actually not that many platforms who are doing this. So Sound Up, though, they do offer this feature. So anybody who is a subject matter expert on any subject has at least that many tips
Yeah.
that they can offer. So you absolutely could do it. It doesn't have to be breaking news.
Right.
And so, I wish I would have thought about that. I wish I would have thought about that before I started my briefing. It would have made my life a lot easier. But again, the benefits that I've gotten from making this a daily practice have been really great.
Okay, cool. So two other things that I want to bring up. One is that I actually, even though I have the device and I have the app on my phone, I've been listening to your flash briefings through the bot that you send through Facebook Messenger, which I think is kind of genius. I know that's an extra step for you, but I find it so easy because it just kind of pops up on my phone every morning, like, hey, you've got this new flash briefing. Do you want to hear it? So tell us a little bit about how you do that, or is that something you just figured out, or how did that come about?
Well, the second thing I'm most excited about in 2018 and 17 are messenger bots. And so I'm always looking for a way to put that little thing to good use. And because not everybody has a device, but people were asking about this briefing, and because I'm going to the trouble of creating this briefing, I might as well get it to as many listeners as possible. So I just send it out through Facebook Messenger bot, and the platform that I use is ManyChat. But what's so great is that if you do this, so ManyChat allows you to send out a broadcast very similar to how you would send out an email.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's really all I have to do. I mean, I can do everything. I can record my flash briefing. I can repurpose it into the MP4. I can then send it out I can upload it to SoundUp, and I can send it out over ManyChat in less than 10 minutes. I can do all of that. And because ManyChat, what it allows me to do is duplicate, just like you can in your email. I can duplicate the broadcast and just go in there and change the link and the date. That's all I do. I hit edit, copy. I go in there. Maybe I add a couple extra emojis, or if I want to throw in a GIF, but I'm just clicking duplicate, duplicate, duplicate. And then every time I put in a new link, and then I click send, and it automatically sends it to anybody who has the tag for flash briefing. So they've opted in for the briefing, and then away it goes. The other thing that's so great is that ManyChat gives you this link that if anybody clicks it, they automatically are opted in. They're a subscriber. And so it's very easy to share this link in an email, on your social, wherever, to get subscribers on inside of Facebook Messenger. So yeah, that's been working out. That's been working out really well.
Oh, great. Yeah. I like it. I certainly, that's how not every day, but almost every day, how I listen to it. So one of the other things I want to mention there is, first of all, people are opting in. So you didn't just start sending me Messenger, a bot chat thing without me saying, yeah, I want that. So that's kind of a good thing to let people know. The last thing I kind of want to touch base on is the fact that now, you're on Amazon. Your briefing is listed there, but that kind of gives you some visibility too, as Jen Lehner, as a content creator. Can you talk to us a little bit about that, and if you've seen any benefits or gotten anything that's been really helpful in that part of it? I think that's kind of cool.
It's unbelievable. It's like, I'm so glad you asked about that, because that is like, for that reason alone, every single person listening to this needs to be like racing to the computer to create this. Cause just think about this, Phyllis. So okay, we already talked about all the number of like there's a gazillion devices. There's going to be a gazillion more. So everybody's going to have one, number one. Number two, there's only 50,000 flash briefings right now. And if I would have told you that there were 50,000 websites, or 50,000 podcasts, you would say to yourself, wow, that's a number that validates that these are a real thing, but it tells me that I have a chance of getting found. 50,000 is like nothing. Okay. So first of all, there's that. Secondly, yes, not only are you're not just searchable from the Lexi app, you're searchable from the biggest store on earth, giant search engine, like second only to Google, this search engine. You are going to be found if you set up your briefing the right way, using the right keywords, give it the right title. But if you are a flash briefing about let's say you do, or a flash briefing about succulents. Okay.
Yes.
There's people who like just
Yes.
love succulents, the plants. Okay. I don't know where that came from. There's a
Yeah.
plant on my desk. That's where it came. All right. So let's say that's it. And you put like succulents tips and you put that in your title and then you have all the right keywords. When someone goes to Amazon to buy a book about succulents or look up a product about succulents, your flash briefing is going to show up. That's
incredible.
nuts. The other thing that it is incredible. And the other thing that we didn't talk about, the reason that that my mind is blown by this every day now that I've been doing it for almost a year is that, and I wouldn't have been able to tell you this 2 or 3 months into it. But what I am seeing is that I am reaching people who I never would have reached because you're grabbing people in these in-between points in their day that they're in motion kind of, right? Like, so they're having their coffee, or it's stuff that they're doing routinely. So they're making dinner, they're having their coffee, they're packing the kids' lunches, they're on their way to bed, whatever they're doing, it's something that's routine. What that means is it's very easy with just the sound of their voice to just say, Lexi, play my flash briefing, to hear your content. It's so easy for them to get your content. And when they do, you become part of your day. So that's the part that gives me goosebumps are the people who are messaging me and tweeting me and emailing me and following the calls to action that I give on each of these briefings and telling me, hey, I listen to you every day when I blank,
Right.
fill in the blank, like whatever that is. They tell me they listen to me every day. That blows me away. I have now become a part of their daily routine. And that is something that money can't really buy. I mean, I'm not paying for advertising. I'm doing
Right.
that. That's zero cost to me, except whatever I'm paying to sound up, which is practically nothing. Everything else is completely free. The other thing I got to point out, 2 more things, because I don't want to forget to tell you in case I haven't told you this yet, is that when you look at Amazon, what is Amazon? Amazon is a marketplace. So it's only a matter of time before we're going to be able to sell stuff directly through Amazon with voice, whatever that is. Okay. I don't know. Obviously the first thing that comes to mind are like easy Amazon affiliate links, especially if you build a story around a product. Like if I were to come on and start telling you about this amazing book that I read and why it's so amazing and Jen Sincero and the whole parking lot story that I was telling you the other day, which basically is the mindset of getting a front row parking spot and feeling like you absolutely will find a front row parking spot. Anyway, that book, I could tell you this whole story and say, oh, just, if you'd like the book, just say book, please. I don't know what that invocation is going to be for that, but now we're making money. It's absolutely inevitable that that's going to happen. And then the second thing that I want to mention is that just announced this week is that BMW is putting, the Lexi native app inside their dashboard. It took podcast 10 years to get there. And so that with BMW doing this, it's only a matter of time before all the cars are going to have it. So it's simple. They're simple to create. At this point, they're practically free. They're fun. You can grow your audience really fast. You can reach people you wouldn't otherwise be able to reach. It's just a no-brainer. Like by the end of this podcast, everybody should already have one.
Yeah. Well, no, and I thank you. That was
okay.
Some great information. And I hadn't even thought about the old sort of sales component of that eventually, which totally makes sense. I just read an article last night actually about trends for 2019 and into 2020. And of course, voice activated not just the devices, but the ability to market and do those kinds of things with voice activation is definitely expected to become sort of the thing. In fact, there are some people predicting that near 70 to 80% of some marketing in some verticals and things, that's how it's going to be done, period. I'm not sure if we're going to get there, but this is obviously a great step one. I didn't know about the BMW thing, so that's kind of cool. All right, so I know that people are going to have some questions about this, so I'm going to direct them. You've got the podcast that you just recorded that goes into this in a little more detail. You also have a great post about this. Remind me where that's at again.
I did it initially for Social Media Examiner, but I've also got it on my blog at jenlehner.com/blog. I don't know the
Okay.
exact
Well, and we'll put
URL, but I'll give it to you for the show
okay.
notes.
Yeah, we'll do a link for people there. So if you've got questions about that, Jen has the post itself. I've referenced it a couple times because I'm in the process of getting my briefing set up. I'm pretty excited about that. But
Yay!
yeah, I know, I can't wait. And thank you for encouraging me to do it. I'm not sure that I would have. Actually, that's not true. I wanted to do it for a while, but I kind of like a lot of other things, right? It's just taking that step and going, okay, today's the day I'm going to figure this out. And today's the day that I'm going to learn what I need to learn and get it rolling. So, and you gave me a little push to do that. So I appreciate that. But we'll definitely link to it. The post, I really can't recommend enough because Jen really, again, gives you great detail. She even gives you some screenshots of the screens itself. I mean, just really good, detailed information about how to do this for yourself. So yeah, I can't thank you enough for the support and the help with that. And anything else, I really feel like for somebody listening, I think if they're like me, they're like, oh my God, we have to stop right now. Like I have to go do this. So I think this is a good place to stop for us today. Thank you for your time and for the great information and for being part of the Sound Advice podcast. It's just been so much fun. I appreciate it.
Oh, this was a blast, Phyllis. Thank you so much for including me.
Thanks for listening to the Sound Advice Podcast. Be sure to visit soundadvicesales.com to join the conversation, access the show notes, and discover our fantastic bonus content. If you loved this episode of the Sound Advice Podcast, head over to iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, or wherever you get your podcasts to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. We'd love to hear from you. Until next time,
This podcast is part of the Sound Advice FM network. Sound Advice FM. Women's voices amplified.